So there are actually I believe, two costuming question challenges going around right now, but the one I'm doing is SewLoud's Costume Quarantine 20 Questions. So let's get into it. First question is, what was your first costume? Bonus if you share an embarrassing photo, I can do that. My first costume was for a Renaissance fair back in, I believe, 2005. I had never really sewn before, so I went to the fabric store, got a couple of yards of linen for a petticoat, which actually didn't turn out bad. I mean, it's a petticoat, how bad could it be? But I also wanted to make a bodice because why not? It actually fit really well, but the problem was I didn't have any boning. So what I ended up doing was, if I recall correctly, I made strips of fabric and stiffened them with hot glue and then inserted them into the channels. Do what you gotta do. So it looked terrible, but I wore it and I had a really good time, and it was an experience. I didn't touch sewing again for several years after that though. My favorite costume that I've ever made, or what costume are you most proud of? So my favorite one that I've ever made is the one I'm actually wearing right now because it's extremely comfortable. All I have to wear is short stays, petticoat, and it's just like, I could wear this all day, honestly. It's like it's a 1790s, it's Berlin Trowbridge lutestring, really light, airy, really easy to make, really comfortable. The one I'm most proud of though is probably my purple zone front, because it's the first silk gown that I ever made. Silk is not forgiving in any way, but I'm really proud of that purple one because it fits almost perfectly. I still would like to retrim it and change it up a little bit, but I'm really proud of that one. What costume do I dream of making? Oh my gosh. So it's actually not that elaborate. I am dreaming of making a dark green silk damask gown. It's just so beautiful and understated, and I just can't find the fabric. Sewing task I love versus a sewing task I hate. I really like eyelets and I really like hand stitching hems. Hate putting closures into things, which is why you will drag me kicking and screaming out of the 18th century where I can use ties and lacing and pins to get dressed. Once you get on to the Victorian period and I have to put buttons in things and I have to do hooks and eyes, no thank you. Would I rather sew wool or silk? I would rather fit wool because it's extremely forgiving and it basically does what you tell it to. Silk refuses to do what you tell it to, but as for actual sewing, I prefer silk because you can finger press it more or less and it stays where it wants to be. When you try to hem wool, it gets very angry and wibbly and wobbly timey-wimey. Would I rather go to a themed event or pick my own theme event? Oh, definitely a themed event. I really like being immersed in a situation. Costume college was really interesting because everyone's wearing different stuff. Like, there are vague themes, but most people I noticed didn't really go with a theme. That was fascinating. But as far as like actual events, I prefer to have a theme so we can all like be in the moment. Would I rather attend a big ball or an intimate dinner? Intimate dinner, hands down. The really big events like at costume college, they're very overwhelming. I mean, intimate dinners can be overwhelming too. The first one I ever got invited to was called the Pimpernel Dinner, in which I met literally all of my heroes at once. And it actually happened to be my first costume event. I'd done reenacting before, but that was my first like costumer thing. I wore my very first silk dress. I thought I was going to die from panic, but it was actually really, really great. And I've been to a couple more small parties since then, and they've always been my favorite because it feels like you don't get to see everyone that you want to see, but you can spend more time with the people that are there, which is nice. Do I prefer to machine sew or hand sew? Machine sewing is a lot faster, and if there's a side seam of a petticoat that I want to get done really fast, I have no problem throwing it through the machine. But I prefer hand sewing because it is slower, but it's, first of all, stronger. It's meditative in a way, and I can do pretty much anything else while I'm doing it. If I'm sewing on the machine, I can't watch a movie or listen to an audiobook very well. But if I'm hand sewing, I can sit there and watch all my favorite YouTubers while I do it, and it's really fun. Do I like wigs, hair pieces, or my own hair? So, both. I have relatively short hair. It's really pliable. It likes to do things. If I say curl, it curls. It's really easy to work with. However, I'm intensely bad at styling my own hair. So I can do little front things a little bit and put a turban on it. Actually, this is the first turban I've ever worn. I don't know why I said that. But I really like my hair pieces from Jenny LaFleur. They're very easy to work with. It's like instant nice hair. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Name 5 small businesses I love for costuming things. Jenny LaFleur, for sure, because hair is not a thing that I'm good at, and she is. And therefore, she takes that problem away from me. I love Virgil's Fine Goods. She is on maternity leave right now after having the world's biggest baby. But Amber is awesome, and she's exceptional at rolling tiny hems, and so I actually have one of her caps. I make caps for people, but when I needed a silk fancy cap, I have no regrets. I really love Burnley and Trowbridge. Obviously, I'm basically a walking advertisement for them at this point. I love that I can go to their website, pick a fabric, and I don't even have to worry about whether or not it's historically accurate or appropriate because they've done that work for you. They're really great. Also, they're really nice people. There's Damsel Mode. Taylor's wonderful. Also Sparkles. LBCC Apothecary. Honestly, I've never ordered anything from LBCC that I didn't like, so I really like them too. 5 YouTubers you should all check out. Costuming Drama, because she's absolutely hysterical and she has been a great help to me getting this thing up and running. SewLoud. Robin, who actually started this question thing. Kathy Hay, because she's basically like your sewing therapist and I really appreciate that. You should definitely check out Abby from American Duchess, where she's got her own channel now. She just did a really fascinating video on Hogwarts houses and costumers, and it's really interesting. And then you should also check out everyone. I don't know. I feel like I could mention all the obvious suspects. You should also check out Enchanted Rose costumes, even though most of you already have. I just really appreciate that she is also a mom, and I feel like there's not a whole lot of us here. And she still manages to do absolutely amazing things. What is my favorite color? Officially, it's green, but in my day-to-day life, I wear pretty much black and gray and white. But green is officially my favorite. I really like pink for the 18th century for some reason. I don't know what that is. I never wear pink in modern life, but so pink, green, black. Pearls or sparkles? All of them. What is a costume trip I've dreamt of taking? So I've already been to Bath. I've actually been to Bath twice, but it was before I was doing any costuming. I was already into history. I was already studying fashion history, but I wasn't costuming yet. And I went to the Jane Austen Festival in Bath, really wished that I was part of it, and now I have the equipment or the wardrobe to help me with that, and really like to go back and do it properly this time. Favorite cocktail. So I don't actually drink very much. I am a complete lightweight. It is not really a thing I enjoy. However, I very much like a margarita or a mojito. Yeah. Who's a costumer I'd like to meet? I've met a lot of them. I'm friends with a lot of people that 2 years ago I would have thought I would die if I was in the same room with them. So that's fun. I would really like to meet Christina from American Duchess, and here's why. I've seen her at Costume College, was obsessed with her pink hair, but for some reason, I have been watching her making pasta and pie crust and things on Instagram, and I am completely enthralled. I can't eat gluten. It's not a thing that my body is okay with. But I sat there and watched her make pasta for hours. Plain or pattern? Okay, so I really like stripes a lot. Especially for 18th century things, because pleating stripes is like cheating. You don't have to mark anything. The lines are there. That said, most of my costumes are plain. So I'm not really sure what that means. Do I like to use a pattern or make my own? In an ideal world, I would have 2 of me and I could drape things on myself because I love draping. It's really fun. What is my favorite era to wear and what is my favorite to make? I like wearing the 1790s because it's like wearing pajamas all the time. I'm wearing short stays and I honestly like them better than, modern underwear. This morning I wasn't planning to get dressed for this, but then I looked in my closet and I was like, there's probably something in here I could just throw on. And then I found this in the back of my closet and decided to give it another outing. Except it's not an outing because were stuck in our house. So definitely really like to wear 1790s. My favorite era to make, I'm not gonna say 1790s again because I feel like that's cheating. We're just gonna go with 18th century because that's basically where I live. I really like a nice fitted gown, like late 1770s closed front, really basic gown. It's just like, that's my happy place of sewing. I should probably say my favorite thing to make is shifts, but because that is now my like actual work and livelihood, you know, I appreciate shifts. I can do them basically without paying attention at this point, but I like a gown. What is one thing we don't know about you? You don't know a whole lot about me actually, because I'm new here. What's something you don't know about me? I'm 4'11". I am height challenged, which is actually super great because I can make a gown out of 3 yards, and that's cheap. Thank you so much, Robin, for putting this challenge together. It's really nice to have a guided list of questions to follow. It was nice to get dressed up while I'm stuck in my apartment, so thanks, Robin. And I challenge everyone who sees this video, if you have a YouTube channel, please do the thing. If you don't have a YouTube channel, please answer in the comments with your answers to these questions because I really like to hear about you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Never meet your heroes, friends, because then you don't have an answer to this question.